Good morning. In today's class, we are going to discuss about degrees of comparison. So, the word degrees of comparison itself shows the comparison. We are going to compare things um, and showing the degree is called degrees of comparison. So, what are the degrees of comparison? When adjective changes in forms to show comparison, they are called the degrees of comparison. So, basically, uh, comparing two noun by using the adjective. What is meant by adjective? Adjective is nothing but it describes a noun. Okay, it describes the quality of noun or the characteristics of noun is called adjective. So, using adjective, we compare two noun. The degrees of comparison are classified into three types. They are positive degree, comparative degree, and superlative degree. These are the main three degrees of comparison. Shall we repeat? So, repeat with me: positive degree, comparative degree, and superlative degrees of comparison. Then, what is mean by positive degree of comparison? The positive degree of an adjective is an adjective in its simple form. It is used to denote some mere extent of some quality. So it is like positive degrees of comparison is the simplest form. It compares two noun in the same quality. For example, he is as tall as his father. So the tall represent the noun. Okay, so it's describing the noun. So it is tall is an adjective. So he is as tall as his father. It's like comparing two adjectives. Comparing two noun by the adjective is called positive degrees of comparison. In the above mentioned sentence, the adjective is tall. The form tall is used to be the positive degrees of comparison. Next is comparative degree of comparison. The comparative degree of an adjective is used when two things or two sets of things are compared. So the comparative, that word itself shows comparing two things or two sets of things is called comparative. We usually compare things, right? We compare the clothes, we compare the products, we compare ourselves, and we compare others. So comparing means comparing two things, like this pencil is better than this pencil. Okay, or else this chocolate is more sweeter, or this chocolate is more sweeter than this chocolate. Okay, we are comparing two chocolates or two things is called comparative degrees of comparison. For example, Sam is taller than his father. Here, the Sam is a noun, right? Father is also a noun. So, comparing two noun by the quality of an adjective taller or tall is called comparative degrees of uh, comparison. So, in the above mentioned sentence, the form taller is said to be an comparative degree of comparison, as we are comparing Sam's and his father's height. Like we are comparing two noun with the same quality. What is that quality? The height quality through an adjective tall. So we use taller. Next is superlative degrees of comparison. The superlative degrees of an adjective denotes the highest degree of quality. It is used when then two things or sets of things are compared. Like superlative, the word itself says the superlative, the more, the highest. Okay, the highest degree. For example, when we compare one person with the whole class, whole um, classroom students, it's like superlative. We are comparing one individual with many individual, or called superlative. It shows the highest degree. For example, Sam is the tallest in the class. Here, Sam is compared with the students in the whole class. So, we use tallest. The above mentioned sentence, the adjective tallest is said to be in the superlative degree, as Sam's height is being compared to everyone's height in the class. So, shall we recap? So, there are three main types of degrees. They are positive, comparative, and superlative. So, positive is the simplest form. For example, he is as tall as his father. And comparative is comparing two things or two sets of things. For example, Sam is taller than his father, like comparing two things. And when it comes to superlative, it's like showing the highest degree of comparison, like Sam is tallest in the class. Okay, so next is like we have to know certain formation, how the positive, comparative and superlative degrees are formed, and we have certain conditions like rules. Okay, so first is formation of superlative degree by adding er. So we use comparative degree adjectives by adding er. For example, in positive it is sweet, in comparative we say it as sweeter, kind, kinder, great, greater. So this is the first condition. Next, formation of superlative degree by adding est. So in comparative we add er, in superlative we will add est. So positive will be sweet, comparative is sweeter, superlative is sweetest. So kind, kinder, kindest, great, greater, greatest. These are the symbol form. Okay, next is comparison of superlative and comparative when the positive ends in e. If the positive degree is ends in e, the adjective is ends in e, for example fine, e, then what could be the comparative and superlative degree ends with? So in comparative we use finer, in superlative we use finest. Okay, next is form comparatives and superlatives when the positive ends in y. So if it is e, we use er, we add just e, st. Okay, in positive, the positive words with ends with y, then what shall we add? We shall add e, ier or iest. For example, positive is happy, in comparative it is happier, in superlative it is happiest. Next is formation of comparative superlative when the adjective has more than two syllables. For example, beautiful, when the positive form is beautiful, we can't add beautifier or beautiest. So we use two syllable forms. For example, beautiful, more beautiful, most beautiful, difficult, more difficult, and most difficult. Irregular forms of comparison. So before that we saw like fine, finer, finest. The positive degree, when it comes to comparative and superlative degree, they we used to add er and est, and we won't change the main positive degree. Okay, but irregular form of comparison, it's like there is a different form, a different form. Like in positive we say good, but in comparative we use better, in superlative we use best. So like bad, worse, worst, much, more, most. So it's like irregular form, it is not a regular form, it's an irregular form. So when the question comes like uh, in a positive form, like adding good, in comparative we have to add better. And this is a small activity, so just read that and get the answers, like many, most. So what's that answer is, what's the answer? It's a most, more, many, more, most. Bad, worse, worse, just now we saw fat, fatter, fattest. Okay, next here is another little activity. He is clever dash me. So we use he is clever, just remember the answer. Finally we will just recap it. He is senior to me. He is clever than me. Rita is the most intelligent of all the students in the class. Choose the better of the two. Uttar Pradesh is the dash most populated state in India. Shall we check the answer? Yes, very good. Okay. Ah, next activity is Kavita is the dash girl in the class. It's a best girl in the class. Mount Everest is the highest mountain peak in the world. Delhi is the hotter than Delhi is hotter than Chennai. Diamond is the costliest, very good, costliest of all the gems. Iron is the heaviest of all the metals. So these are the answers and these are the activities. So I hope you all uh, get to know about degrees of comparison and its types and a little rules and conditions of degrees of comparison. And thank you so much. Have a great day.